They called it the suicide run, a mission so impossible, even the bravest pilots laughed nervously when they heard the target. Berlin, the black heart of Nazi Germany. Before you scroll, hit subscribe for more dark, forgotten legends of WW2, because what these men did next will defy belief.
They weren't supposed to go that far. Berlin was beyond reach, deep inside enemy territory, surrounded by thousands of anti-aircraft guns and the Luftwaffe's best killers. But in 1943, a handful of American pilots decided to do the unthinkable and take the war right into Hitler's sky. At that time, bombers flew alone. B-17s and B-24s lumbered across Europe, easy prey for German fighters. Every raid ended in disaster. Shredded planes, burning men, entire squadrons wiped from the sky before they even saw Berlin.
Commanders called it a calculated loss, but to the young men watching from the airfields of England, it wasn't numbers. It was friends who never came back, and they were done watching their brothers die.
Enter the P-51 Mustang, a machine that looked like poetry and flew like vengeance. Fast, sleek, and able to go farther than anything before it. For the first time, the Allies had a fighter that could reach Berlin and maybe, just maybe, come home.
But flying to Berlin wasn't just a mission. It was a message, a challenge thrown straight at Hitler's doorstep. You are not untouchable anymore.
The men chosen for that first long-range escort knew the odds. They were told you might not have enough fuel to return. You'll be outnumbered 10 to 1. Every man signed anyway.
One pilot, Lieutenant Jim Brooks, wrote a single line in his journal that night. "If I don't make it back, at least I'll have seen Berlin burn." At dawn, engines thundered across the English countryside, the sound of destiny lifting off the runway.
They climbed above the clouds, the coast of England shrinking behind them. Below, the channel glimmered like silver. Ahead, a continent consumed by war.
2 hours in, they crossed into Germany. Radio silence. Every man alert, every finger hovering over the trigger. Then, the dreaded call. Bandits at 12 o'clock. Incoming fast. From the clouds emerged the black crosses of the Luftwaffe. Messerschmitts and Focke-Wulfs diving like hawks. In seconds, the sky erupted into chaos. Tracers, smoke, and death.
Mustangs twisted through the air, engines screaming. Gunfire ripped through wings, canopies shattered. One pilot went down in flames, another vanished into the clouds, gone without a word. But the others kept pushing east. Their mission was Berlin, and nothing, not fear, not exhaustion, would turn them back.
Fuel was running low, oxygen thin. The horizon glowed faintly red, not dawn, but fire. Berlin, they'd made it. Through flak, fighters, and near death, the black spires of Berlin rose beneath them like jagged teeth. Every pilot felt silent for a heartbeat. They were staring at the center of the Nazi Empire. Then came the command. Engage targets. Hit their airfields, rail lines, whatever you see moving. The Mustangs dove into the smoke, their guns blazing. They strafed German airfields, shredded convoys, and set fuel depots ablaze. For the first time, German soldiers looked up and saw American fighters over their capital. Flak tore through the sky. One pilot's right wing exploded, but he held the stick steady long enough to finish his run before bailing out. His last transmission: "Tell them we made it to Berlin." The rest turned for home, dodging flak bursts the size of trucks. Their instruments blinked red, engines coughing, gauges dipping toward empty. Behind them, Berlin burned. Smoke curled upward,
mixing with the clouds like the ghosts of those who never made it back.
They flew in silence, the adrenaline gone, replaced by exhaustion and disbelief. Some checked their fuel, whispering prayers. Others simply stared out at the endless gray sky.
When they finally saw the English coast again, they couldn't believe it. They'd done what no one thought possible. Berlin was not untouchable anymore. When the survivors landed, ground crews rushed out, their planes riddled with holes, fuel tanks bone dry. But the pilots climbed down, eyes hollow, smiles faint. They'd made history and paid the price.
Only a handful of Mustangs returned. The rest never came back. Lost over enemy skies, names etched into the void.
But that single mission changed everything. The Luftwaffe had been warned. The Allies could now strike anywhere, anytime. From that day on, the P-51s escorted bombers all the way to Berlin, breaking the Nazi air defense once thought invincible. It was the beginning of the end.
Hitler's generals were stunned. How did they reach Berlin, they demanded. The answer? Because a few men dared to believe it could be done.
By 1945, those same Mustangs were flying over a dying Reich. Berlin lay in ruins, a city that once ruled Europe, now a smoking tomb.
And among those who flew there first, few survived to see peace. But their names still echo in every thunder of an engine, in every contrail drawn across the sky.
They weren't just pilots, they were symbols of defiance, courage, and the will to face the impossible. Because in the darkest skies over Berlin, they proved one truth. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means flying anyway. They were the fighter pilots who took the war to Berlin. And though most never came back, their story lives on, written in the smoke and fire of history. If you want more dark, untold WW2 stories like this one, subscribe and join us as we uncover the forgotten heroes of war.